How's it going, Blazers? We're going to build the community to allow for discussion of providing specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. So we're going to go live on this one just because I don't want to wait to unbox this. And I had some other things I was doing, getting home from work and everything else and getting things kind of settled and doing dishes and whatnot. So standard household things, but I did not want to just leave that. So we'll come back to that side of things. If anybody comes on, then wonderful. If not, then we'll watch this afterwards. But going to be hanging out, talking about a few things, some really great progressions. I mean, like as far as the subscriber count right now, before the video, I'm at 1,069, which is I just don't know what to say about that. It's just fantastic. Thank you to folks that are liking the content enough to actually click the button to subscribe to the channel. I guess there's a few different things that I'm still trying to do with it. I'm still trying to find those little specifications, those little things that are easily relatable to folks, so they can actually kind of see it at home, figure it out for the knives that they have. Because in no means I'm an expert in everything for it. It just I like to research things. I like mechanisms. I like how things operate. So that's kind of where a lot of this came from. And then in getting into the community, in working with different folks, it kind of really helped out to figure out what people like, what people don't like, figure out what I like about things, and then kind of going from there. So with the ones that we have on the table, something that really kind of picked up that was kind of interesting was the KPL versus Blue Lube. This is actually one that actually I think I'm able to actually figure out kind of a final baseline test for this. So if you see that video, that was actually a pretty good one. It seems to be accepted pretty well as far as the information that was given out. So I did use the CRKT FOSS. This one actually does have kind of a little spot here, and there was a hot glue gun. So with the alignment pull gauge is where I actually pull on this spot here. So every single time that I'm going to be pulling on the blade, so I'm going to be right past the detent ball, and then I'm going to be actually pulling the blade, so the blade's at 90, I'm going to be pulling it right here, and then that is where I'm getting the measurement every time I'm actually disassembling it. So that's one thing good about the field strip, is then I would take the knife down, clean off the pivot area with the little alcohol wipe. So a little controversy with that thing going on, but I think it's pretty well settled with that. And then we do have some other ones here. So just going back on some old knives that I had around. So now like a Bestech. This is actually the Beluga. So kind of looks like a beluga, I guess, from this platform here, as far as the handle, and then also like kind of a little eye right there. But that's kind of an interesting thing about some of this type of stuff. It's just a really a nice way to kind of go back and actually look at some of the things that you had, where you progressed from, just some of the even progression as far as what you liked. Because when I started with knives, it was kind of I researched things mostly very extensively, very much to the nth degree. So when I picked up my first knife, it was the Kershaw Skyline. The Skyline was like the knife I was going to have forever. I wasn't going to buy another knife. That was going to be the knife that I would have until I died or something like that. So that was going to be the one that would stay around for a long time. And then I found that once I got that one, I was like, okay, well, I'll try something else. And at that time, it was like 30 something, $40 that was a lot of money to spend on a knife. I would be normally like $10 or $5, and even that was like kind of like, do I really need to spend $5 or $10 on a knife? So that was kind of an interesting progression as far as where it came from, and then went through like the Kershaw Fraction, a few other knives, and then it's kind of an interesting thing too as far as how this progressed is a lot of times within the normal sphere of who you're hanging around with. A lot of people don't like knives, don't understand them. There's not really a use for it, especially if you're working in not a heavy labor type of market. So people might think, well, why do you have a knife? I mean, you don't really need one. You don't really, I mean, what are you going to use it for? A lot of people have kind of an idea of a knife equals purely a weapon, like that whole tactical type of side of it. And it really doesn't. I mean, it is useful. And a lot of times when you might come into a situation where it's like, oh, we need to cut this, like, who has a knife? And then you probably, I mean, under different circles, you're gonna might have 100% or a high percent of it, or you're gonna have maybe like you, and then you'd be like, yeah, here you go, type of thing. But that's kind of an interesting part of things. And then one of the mugs I have on the table, has anybody been to the Amazon Go store? It's actually really quite awesome. I went to the one in Seattle, and then it actually is pretty cool. So you walk into the store, and then you pick up anything that you want, put it into your bag. Well, actually, first you got to get the app. So get the app first, and then you go and walk through the store, pick up everything that you want, and put in your bag, and then you walk out of the store. And you're actually shopping, not shoplifting at this point. Like, do that any other place that you're shoplifting, don't do it. But Amazon Go store, it has cameras, it has weight sensors. It's just a really impressive setup. I mean, it's not going to be every little thing that you're going to have within your stores, but it is going to be a lot of little things, kind of the little things you can do, just pick up on the way home. If you want to just get a snack, if you're on a lunch break. If anybody works at Amazon, I mean, I want to go to that little garden, because you can't go there unless you're an Amazon employee. So that's something I would want to look into, because I saw all the pictures of it. And it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go up there. Went with my family, and then it's like, oh, you're an employee? No, oh, you can't go in. It's like, oh, so it's a really cool area. But Amazon Go Store is pretty neat. So I picked up a mug, put it in my bag, got a few little snacks, then we walked out, and then it all got charged. It was accurate. It's just really weird. So anybody else that tries to do that type of thing, I mean, Amazon, like, they went to that degree to know that you're picking it up and actually paying for it. So that, I mean, with the amount of cameras, the weight sensors, and everything else, it's really cool. So kind of off topic on that, but that's a mug that I picked up out of the cupboard today, and I was like, oh, I'll talk about that a little bit. So another one, which is this one is from, I'm missing the name on it, but the Bastion. This one is the Falcon. There's one that actually tested a little bit low on the Rockwell testing when it went out for steel test. So I'm going to actually send this one out probably again. Well, not this specific one, but I have another one I'm going to send out and then see if that one tests properly. I'll also send out another of the LA Police Gear knife, even though they still haven't got back to me at all. I don't understand that, as far as when a customer reaches out and asks a question, you would normally say, at least, thank you for asking your question, or anything. But then by any of the companies that I've dealt with, they have been one that just like totally just ghosts you, like you don't exist. Yeah, it's just really crazy. Bastion, for this one, it did test a little bit low on the Rockwell, and then when I let them know about it, they were just like, oh, well, that's actually not how it's supposed to be. We'll look into it. So even if they don't look into it, I mean, even if that was a matter of just like telling me something, at least they talk to me about it. I mean, that's at least where, because I'm not trying to do it out of being spiteful. I'm not trying to go after them. We're just trying to get some information for everybody to look at. So if you do want to look at that steel testing chart, it is in the description below as well. So you can actually take a look at it and then see which one of the brands kind of tested to the correct Rockwell, and then also which one of the brands actually tested to the correct steel that's printed on the blade. So there are some that list for D2, and it was not D2, and then some just didn't list anything, like the Ozark Trail ones that have been around for a long time, and opened up my 2015 10 flipper just to send that along. So that one seemed to be, it was like 3 CR or something. So that one was kind of an interesting one with that. And then for the front flipper side, I'm getting my front flipper back from the blind knife review. So if you did not see the blind knife review, check out those 7 channels that had done that. I'm actually put a playlist together. I actually haven't done that yet, so I'll probably do that right after this video. But that one is actually pretty good. I'm going to get that front flipper back, the real steel G5 Metamorph. So that one was kind of a good one. And then just for the heck of it, I saw this on a Reddit post. And then I was like, okay, well, for a really cheap front flipper, there's like that San Renmu. And then I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. It's like $10. But I thought it would, I mean, it kind of acts like a front flipper. But takes a little bit of work to it. And it needs to be it's not, I don't think it was intended to be a front flipper. But probably if I get like a thumb stud, I mean, in addition to it, the quick stud, probably put it on there. Then it would work a lot better as my front flipper. But I mean, it's like really inexpensive for this knife. And then if it's correct that they make the knives for rake, this is the profile that would be a lot better for their front flipper, which was quite a bit more chunky than this, but pretty much the same footprint, which is something that's kind of interesting for this whole deal. And then Bazon Blades put in a thing of kind of your smoothest knife. So it was kind of one that was not just that the D10, I mean the pivot smooth. It just like when you hold it, when you pick it up, it's like, oh, that's a really smooth knife as far as really nice, really something that really makes you like the knife when you pick it up. And then that one is going to be this knife here. There's my Fox Bosnelli Dragotac. So if you haven't seen this one is a friction folder, and this one actually is one that is actually you can use for self-defense too. So if you actually do use it, at least on videos that I saw from the Dragotac company, I mean Bosnelli, so you can actually even hold it and then use this as more of a pressure point weapon if you need to actually do that with a steel tip. And then also in opening it up, you can do that one-handed. And then I just feel this is just a gorgeous knife with the wood. I had the plastic one, so I had that one first because I was cheaping out and I didn't want to pay more money for the wood. But I was like, okay, I'll just get the plastic one and see how it is. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll pick that up. And then I ended up getting the wood one, and I was like, okay, now I can't have the plastic one. But it's a very, very nice knife. And then for being a friction folder, so you still, when you're using it, I mean, you can have the weight on this little tang here. So you don't really have to worry about it closing down. And even if it does close down a little bit, it's still going to close on a finger as far as pinching your finger, not cutting your finger off. So that's going to be something really nice about it. So it adds a little bit of confidence, but still, I feel just a very gorgeous knife. So we're going to open up this one here. This one's actually a box that came in. Actually did a trade, not a trade, but a switch or a borrow loan type of deal with Tom. Tom from, and he is from the channel Blade Centered. So you're going to get some videos that are really to the point. So he very much takes care of a lot of the really good opinions on a lot of the knives as far as what he thinks about them, and then some really good points as far as the knives. But there's one of the ones that is kind of, the statement's been made as far as it goes, like if you review knives, if you're a knife enthusiast, you have to handle a Chris Reeves knife. So whether that be the case or not is something different, but I do appreciate that he sent the box with it, because I sent him over my Medford Smooth Criminal, which is the button lock flipper. So he wanted to check that one out, so he sent me a list of the knives that he has, and I was like, okay, well, if you would, I would like to see the Chris Reeves knife. So he was nice enough to do that. So I have this knife here. Very nice setup for it as far as a knife goes too. So it's a simple box, but it's it seems like a quality setup, so it's not a standard one. So I mean, a lot of people don't care about the box because, well, I'm going to throw it away. I, it isn't really important to me as far as that goes. But this is one that it's not a grail, but it's one I would probably want to get at some point, is a Chris Reeves knife, just because of the service that's offered for it. So kind of like how Benchmade has their life sharp warranty, take care of you and everything like that. I think for what I know of it, Chris Reeves knives are even higher than that. I mean, if you use a knife, which they want you to do, and then you do something where it gets to the point where it's not the same finish and everything else, you send it back. Now they'll bring it up to that same standard that they have. Chris Reeve himself is no longer in the operation of the company, so his wife is and his son is. So they're kind of they came out with a slip joint, which I think was a really interesting setup because it had basically a variable as far as the opening and closing. That's the only real time that I've seen somebody really talk about the detent, the pull weight. It's kind of an interesting one. I saw it on his and then one other channel or one other knife maker that was talking about the actual pull. Because I think I'm the only one that actually uses like a pull gauge to tell you as far as, okay, well, this is how much pressure is needed to actuate something. And then I'm also working that into the testing for the lubricants. Also, I guess, side note to that is, just let me know as far as if there's any other lubricants that you wanted me to check out. So I did hear mineral oil, and then also since nano oil seems to be the next best thing, or the best thing in a lot of people's eyes, I did reach out to them, and then they're currently at SHOT Show. So I just asked if I could get a sample, just a broad sample of their product, so I can run it through the same test. So they actually cordially agreed to that, and I was actually surprised. But so I'll be able to test some nanolube, and then so I'll do KPL versus nanolube. So basically between these two tests, watch the video on that as far as who kind of came out on top between these two. But let's open this one up and then kind of see the knife. So the regular box, Chris Reeve, you got all this paperwork with it. So this is the small Sebenza 21. And then it has their regular lubricant for it. So that's a fluorinated grease. And then that's what they recommend for that. Comes with a little tool, little Allen wrench. And then also another kind of side note. So audio side of things, like it seems like with the Blade Show West, when I picked up Boya mic, so the two lapel mics. So that's what I use for the audio for this channel. So that's where really nice, I guess, way to fold this too. So hopefully I can put that back how it is, because that seems to be that kind of the style of folding this. Oh, and then he actually has a different scale in there too. So that's pretty awesome too. It seems like it's an aftermarket scale. So put that down. This is a carbon fiber. So I guess this is the original scale. So this is the original scale that comes on it, kind of that starburst type of pattern. Then good texture, good feel to it. I think that's going to be really good in hand. And then he has the carbon fiber, which is the addition to that. Yeah, so very smooth for it. And so that's where overall their knives aren't kind of that flicking type of knife. It still can be done for it. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to do that, but this is, you can just feel it as far as, that's something that's different about the bronze washers, and then also bearings. So bearings, even though some of the best bearings, if you actually are pulling it open and you're doing it very slowly, you can kind of feel the bearings move in there. Other than this, it's kind of just a standard feel that it opens up, and a standard feel when it's closing. And so it's a little bit different as far as a tactile feel to it, as far as the knife. So this is where I'm going to hopefully get a handle on it, be able to kind of see how this knife is, and then see if it is going to be something that I actually want to pick up at some point, because Creely knives are now one that are still, with them being around for a while, they're still one that's kind of at a pinnacle as far as some of their manufacturing techniques and their standards. So that's something that I probably do want to pick up. And then still looking to see some exciting things come from them. And then we'll see if that slip joint actually does kind of pick up as well. So that's kind of what we have for it. And then this is kind of a different one too, because it's like super early in the morning. So everybody's sleeping, and I should be sleeping too. But I think right now it's about almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And then so just about everybody will be watching this after the fact, because I've been just basically talking to myself for the last 20 minutes. So I saw something funny about that too. It was something like, I forgot which channel it was though, but it was like, you're told all through your childhood and everything else not to talk to yourself. And then you start something like this, and then you sit with the camera, actually my phone, and you just talk to yourself. So I don't know, that seems kind of an odd take on things, but I guess going back on it, still, thank you very much for the people that watch. Hopefully it gives you something to look at. Hopefully it's something that you enjoy, and then like, share, subscribe to things, and then we'll see where the channel goes, see where things can kind of take off from there. That pass around group's still going really well for that. What else do we got here? Oh, SHOT Show. Oh man, can't believe I didn't talk about that. So SHOT Show videos are starting to come out. So there's probably two knives that I've seen kind of in the little coverage that I would like to pick up. One being it's a Stillwell. So Stillwell came out with their Antlock probably like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's been a while in development process, and then it's finally seems to be coming out. It's supposed to be 2019 is the year of the Antlock. Excuse me. So that's something that is going to be pretty interesting to see how that works out, if it actually meets up to the hype for it, for that knife. And then also going to be the Civivi. I don't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it's one that I missed out on with Blade Show West. Blade Show West, I was kind of running around talking to people and everything, so I didn't really go to each booth as far as looking for a knife, because I actually left Blade Show West. I didn't buy anything, so that was kind of one of those things where I was just talking to people, getting to know folks, interviews. So it actually worked out pretty well, and I really appreciate the people that actually took the time to actually interview me or interview with me, and still trying to track down as far as Patriot Blade Works. So I try to get them in the pass around group, but it seems like they're kind of on the fence about doing that. So if you haven't checked them out, they're pretty cool as far as some of their blades. Mostly all U.S. sourced parts as well. But that's one thing that's going to be probably the exciting things for this next week or two, is going to be all the SHOT Show coverage, which is going to be pretty neat. But that's going to be about it. This is going to be the Sebenza 21 for that. And then let me know as far as also what other segments you like to see, because I was kind of on the fence about trying something as far as like little segments as far as what I like. Again, it's just kind of talking about different things, but it's kind of a little review on different things. that I might pick up that is pretty cool. And I love them. Cutlery Lover does that quite a bit because he has the daily, and I don't think I ever want to go daily, but he does the daily one. So that's kind of things that he just covers as far as random things in his life. Tried out like super hot popcorn, which I don't want to do either, but those are the kind of different things that go on. So I appreciate it to Blade Centered. Check out Blade Centered for his channel because he does have some pretty cool knives involved in the pass around group, and then very poignant points that he makes in some of his videos as far as some of the critiques that he has, and he seems to know quite a bit about it. So thank you again for your time. Let me know in the comments down below as far as what you think. Where do you think the channel should go? And then we'll kind of go from there. So thank you for your time.